Greetings, I am V3D1, and welcome back to Leave It to VACCI. In this episode, we get some new soldiers in from Y Labs. So, without further ado, let's see how they fare.
In this round, I'm going for the quest to collect gnomes from Fort Crumpet. According to my database, I get progress on collecting books and gnomes from Holly Hedges. 2 quests in 1 round? Way to multitask, right? Well, according to my database, I don't complete either, but oh well. The only thing I care about is helping V2C1 finish her main mission, and helping her get home as fast as possible. Anyway, after having searched the chest up above, and grabbing the green assault rifle from within, I make my way down to truly start my search for the gnomes in question. I see a glow up ahead, but I go down the stairs, as that could easily be the light from a lantern. However, once I get here, I spot a chest, but my focus is on trying to find these gnomes. I drop down here, and I search the ground floor for the gnomes. There are none down here in what I can only assume is a gift shop. At this point, I look through my quests to see how many gnomes were actually at Fort Crumpet at the time. However, there are so many quests in our database that I couldn't see the quest at first. Fortunately, they are sorted by rarity. So, knowing it's a purple quest, once I reached the blue quests, I knew I had went too far down. According to the map markers, there were only 2 outside of Fort Crumpet, so, with me needing to collect 3, there was still 1 more gnome I had to collect here if I wanted to complete the quest. However, I marked Holly Hedges, and prepared myself for all of the battles up ahead. Having given up on finding the gnome before the storm closed, I exited the fortress, and started making my way to Holly Hedges. My sensors were vigilant in searching for any opponents, and my combat programming was primed for action. I wasn't about to just let myself get eliminated without a fight. I was going to make some progress on the quest, and nobody was going to stop me. Call it overconfidence or being cocky all you want, we call it determination. 486 meters to go, and steadily dropping. I kept my assault rifle out and ready, as it does the best at the longest range. The thing that really spurred me onwards, besides of course not finding the gnome at Fort Crumpet, was the fact that Holly Hedges 2 wasn't in the next predicted eye. The urgency of that fact, coupled with the difficulty of finding the Fort Crumpet gnome, made me want to finish the quest that much quicker. I don't even know if we completed the quest at all, because there were some places where each competitor had stolen quests from another, and thus robbed them of that point, but again, we didn't care. As long as we completed the main mission, and V2C1 got to go home was good enough for us. As for what we would do after the fact, however, you'd have to stay tuned to learn more. But suffice it to say, the mission failed successfully. You'll learn what that means later. Now 196 meters away from Holly Hedges, and the storm has just started moving. Fortunately, I could see Holly Hedges on the mini-map now, so it won't be too much longer before I got to Holly Hedges in person, and I'd be able to search for both objects outlined in the quests. As a matter of fact, I was able to finally see the city itself once I crested that hill behind me. At this point, I was making my final approach to Holly Hedges, and getting ready to search the city as quickly as I could for the gnomes in question. I kept my sensors open, watching vigilantly and diligently for any signs of the red hats and brown shirts that they were known for. On top of that, I was watching for the blue glow that shone out from them, which marked them as the quest targets. Anything else was just a destructible decoy. Here I just grabbed the second out of 4. 2 to go, and the storm was 2 minutes and 25 seconds away from the eye. Fortunately, while Holly Hedges was not in the next predicted eye, it was close to it, so now, the sense of urgency was gone, especially with me having to only find 1 more gnome in the city itself. I just casually searched around the city, watching for that ever-present glow that marked the gnome in question. Once I found that, I could vacate the city with the knowledge that I succeeded. But, as I said before, I also found a book or 2, so like I also said before, I was multitasking, whether I meant to or not. Here I took down a strange looper going by the name Cleopatra. They and the strange blue looper, inflated couch, before them didn't seem to know what they were doing, as it was fairly easy to eliminate them both. Due to using a shotgun from far range, Cleopatra seemed to be the easiest of the 2 to eliminate without taking much damage. While inflated couch had hit me for 42 before getting eliminated, Cleopatra had only hit me for 25. However, this was still enough to put me under pressure. So as soon as I looked through my database for what this book was supposed to be, I was needing to repair my systems as soon as possible. I had made partial repairs prior to checking the quests and collecting the book, but still, my systems were at 63%. And before you ask what I meant by whatever the book was supposed to be, bear in mind that this is post-match commentary about what happened over 2 years ago at this point. At the time, I didn't know what the book was, and had to consult our quest database about it. Anyway, now that I had found that book, I moved on to search for more gnomes. I looked through the nursery, that is to say, a plant store, of holly hedges, and found a gnome with a blue hat and red shirt this time, which I collected, finishing up the gnomes that were present in holly hedges. However, now I knew there were books around here that I also needed to search for, so while I was finished on the gnome front, I wasn't where it came to the books. Now finally repairing my systems as well as I could with the bandages, which was only 75%. Which may not seem like much, but it's better than 33%. In order to fully repair my systems, I would have needed a medkit. I will be the only one that needs to say this episode, but I and the rest of my successors were going for the quest to eliminate opponents with assault rifles. This quest will take a while, so get comfortable in that knowledge. Anyway, I'm staking out this building, waiting for my opportunity to ambush the first foolish assailant that attempts to enter for the express purpose of attacking me or looting the building. I don't necessarily have an assault rifle at this point, but as this clip is 7.5 minutes long, it won't end until I have gotten at least one elimination with an assault rifle. After all, I have repeatedly said that I got progress on the quest in the first place, so you should already know by now. After all, we don't save the clips unless we got progress on a quest. We just don't work like that. The whole point of this score war, so-called, is seeing who got the most points by the end of it. And we currently don't know who won, because not everyone, including the Confederacy of Independent Droids, has submitted all of their clips with quest progress or completion in them. Therefore, we won't know until everyone has finished. Anyway, I'm now leaving the orchard, and running along, trying to find the assault rifle I'll be using to get progress on the quest. If we didn't already know what happened here, I would say hopefully complete the quest as well, but we know that's not what happened. And by we, I mean the Confederacy alone, not us and you. I seem to have needed to have taken a westerly path to make it into the next predicted eye, so by that reasoning, steamy stacks may not be in the eye at this point. We have played so many matches that the data of older matches seem to meld together. That's why I sound like I've forgotten exactly what happened in these rounds. Bear in mind, we are all at least 2 years old at this point, 2 years of experience, 2 years of memories. It all just seems to meld together at times, so that's why. At this point, I've engaged my next opponent in battle, and I'm spraying them with my submachine gun until they are eliminated. Unfortunately, the weapon I needed to use was an assault rifle, but survival is important too. After all, we were programmed with the same directives as the battle droid that ordered us: complete the mission by any means possible, and survive by any means necessary. Now I'm investigating the blue steel bridge, trying to find better weapons. I glossed over it a little, but I got 2 assault rifles from the gas station. The first was the grey heavy from the opponent I eliminated, then a blue assault rifle from the floor. Now I'm watching the river down below, trying to see if anyone is swimming. If I so much as see an opponent, I'll fire upon them, and eliminate them with extreme prejudice, or get eliminated trying. Nevertheless, I'm trying to find an opponent to eliminate with my assault rifle. When I don't find anyone, I then move on to find them elsewhere. At this point, I detected a chest, but it's not on the railing above me as I first thought, but rather below me. And now I'm on the other side of the bridge, entering the cafe, and moving to search the chest within. Inside the chest was a med kit, a green assault rifle, medium bullets, and wood. Out of those, only 3/4 of the contents were actually worth searching the chest for. And thus, I replace my bandages with the med kit, which I then promptly use. Once my systems are back to 100%, I then pick up my bandages, and switch to my assault rifle, then move on with the rest of the match. For the rest of this match until the quest is completed, we will have more than one reason to keep our assault rifles at the ready, for simple self-defense, and to complete the quest that, at this point, you're tired of hearing about. So, instead of repeating myself like a broken record, I'm just going to say how I accomplished it when the time comes. Until then, I will try to provide commentary on what I see. I am now making my way into Pleasant Park, one of the most popular landing spots on the island. At least, from what my predecessor has seen. And no, I'm not talking about V1E1 or V2C1, I'm talking about the original product from Y Labs, Lexa. Or rather, her mecha fusion technology. She is actually a cyborg if you didn't know, and we are based off of the mecha fusion hunter protocol, which plates Lexa in armor that resembles us, albeit more grey and less colorful. And you've only seen 2/3 of the different droid models V2C1 got when she ordered an army from Y Labs. You will see the final third later, at the point when V2C1 deems them ready to deploy. Until then, you're stuck with us Commando droids and our Escort Droid predecessors. Now engaging the next opponent in battle. As I said before, I have no choice but to win this scrap. It may look intimidating to most competitors, but this is one architect that only proved merely challenging instead of outright impossible. When I realized the architect was still firing their weapon at someone, I exited my extension of their structure, only to see the victim eliminated. I once again turned my attention to the architect, and tried to find them through the tree and their builds. This didn't seem too difficult, seeing as how my sonar was picking up their footsteps. I forced them to retreat just then due to a volley of assault rifle rounds. However, I wasn't satisfied with forcing them to retreat. I wanted to eliminate them, so I went into the house in an attempt to attack them from a different angle, one that, hopefully, they didn't expect. Regardless, I was determined not to let them escape when I had the opportunity to do them in. The suspense rose as I climbed up the stairs, but my battle programming was active at a high level, back then the highest it could go. There was one thing wrong with my different angle strategy. I had to break the ceiling to access the roof where they were, ridding myself of the advantageous element of surprise. They were even breaking the roof at this point. They knew I was here, but regardless, I wasn't going to back down. Not when I was this close. See what I was saying when I said that the architect was merely a challenge, and nothing more? We are only 6 minutes and 12 seconds in. And I know that we are a majority of the way through this clip, but at the same time, I don't think I took a minute and a half to save the clip after my elimination. Do you? If so, I feel like you're mistaken. Anyway, regardless of what we think, I got progress on the quest right then and there. Now, how much more I can do in the next 56 seconds is anyone's guess. All I know about the matter is that I got progress on the quest. I don't even know if I got any more before my elimination. Again, the data from hundreds, if not thousands, of matches that we've played seem to meld together the longer it takes us to talk about them after splitting them up into individual matches such as this. Here, I'm going after another opponent who destroyed this bush, blowing both of our covers. In a short volley of assault rifle rounds, he too was eliminated. Given how long this clip has left, that would be my last such victory this match. Despite this, I wasn't going down without a fight, so I built walls to defend myself. As I restored my shield, my opponent was rushing me, ready to tear me apart. And despite my bold last stand, they succeeded. As my predecessor said, I don't have to remind you of the quest I'll be going for, so to save you the irritation, I won't. All I will do is explain my methods, which will be similar to my predecessors. And when my predecessor said you've only seen 2/3 of the different models the Confederacy received, she wasn't bluffing. However, she also wasn't talking about the individual units of each model. She was mentioning the models themselves. Like my predecessor, I am a Commando Droid. And the successor that will be deployed after me will, also, be a Commando Droid. And the first new soldier you saw was an Escort Droid. The last model you have yet to see out of this batch are the Infiltrator Droids. However, like my predecessor said, V2C1 is performing quality tests on the Infiltrator Droids to see if they truly live up to their names. But, I'm getting sidetracked. After having landed at Dirty Docks, and picking up what I could at the cranes, I swam to one of the buildings, presumably a warehouse, in the area, and started looking for chests to search, and if any of them had assault rifles inside, I'd pick up said rifles, and truly begin my mission for the match. I picked up a tactical shotgun for basic survival gear, and then entered the building itself. When I searched this chest, I got some bandages, light bullets, a green submachine gun, and stone. Like with the tactical shotgun, I pick up the submachine gun for basic survival. In this chest, there was a lever-action shotgun, a shield potion, some shells, and wood. Like my predecessor, I only saw 3/4 of the chest being what I wanted. So, I just took the shells, potion, and wood. Speaking of potions, there was another shield potion at the top of this shelf. So, I started working on picking that up too. After building a bridge and smashing the beam in my way, I jumped across to the shelves, and grabbed the shield potion. Now that I have 2 shield potions, I can get up to 100% shield. While we wait, I suppose I could tell you more about the Infiltrator Droids. If you think you see the pattern, then I have bad news for you. The Infiltrator Droids are not my successors, but rather my predecessors. Yes, you heard me right, they were manufactured before the Commando droids. Sorry to break the pattern you might have been seeing, but unfortunately, there was no pattern in which the Infiltrator droids were at the end. Now I'm farming for materials so that I can defend myself against enemy fire when it comes to my next firefight. And I know wood is not particularly great for withstanding enemy fire, but once I run out of the heavy stuff, wood would be a nice safety net to briefly keep me safe from enemy fire. However, if an enemy is truly pressuring me that much, I'm probably as good as destroyed, anyway. Still, to try and fail is better than not trying at all, because you learn something from every success and failure, or at least, you should. This is part of the reason why the Confederacy of Independent Droids is so successful. Not because we start off skilled, not because we're mightier than any other army right now, but because of our persistence. That is why we succeed. It's not all about skill, it's not all about firepower, it's not all about firing rate. It's about picking yourself back up after a loss. So, that's what we will continue to do. We may not rise above all loopers, but that's okay. I will say, though, that it was very difficult to find an assault rifle this round. I had been searching through dirty docks for over 3 minutes, very thoroughly, and still yet, nothing. However, I still have about 6 minutes left before this clip ends, so I'm not that worried about it. And on top of that, despite having a slower than preferred firing rate, I finally found an assault rifle at long last. Yes, I am perfectly willing to use the heavy assault rifle, if need be. Despite the firing rate, it is a powerful weapon, so it will do for now. And even though I said that firing rate doesn't matter as much as picking yourself back up after a loss, we of the Confederacy still prefer weapons with higher firing rates anyway. So, now that I have an assault rifle, I'm going to move on to try and find either a better assault rifle, or an opponent. Whichever one comes first. Now I'm headed to yet another warehouse to continue my search for a better assault rifle or an opponent. I saw something on the trailer of that truck, so I moved in to investigate. However, once I arrived, it was merely a green heavy assault rifle, which I picked up anyway. If life wants to give me heavy assault rifles, as reluctant as I may be, I will use them to eliminate an enemy if necessary. And now it's time for me to hit the road, as the storm is now hot on my trail. I run to the eye, following the white line to the eye so as to get there as soon as possible. There may not be much excitement between now and then, so I guess I could further explain the new recruits of the Confederacy. Each of us came in a platoon, 50 strong. 50 escorts, 50 infiltrators, 50 commandos. V2C1 made sure we were an army, with enough troops to overwhelm even the most competent soldiers. And for the most part, she succeeded. Most of the time, we completed our missions, whether it was getting progress on a quest, or completing it outright. The few times we didn't were against architects that wouldn't leave us be. But that didn't stop us from trying again next round. Persistence and determination are the key values of the Confederacy. Any droid or soldier who lacks either trait are either trained to be better in what they lack, or dismissed from the ranks entirely. It also helps to be competent, as the V3 demolition droids V2C1 manufactured found out the hard way. As they were severely limited in their proficiency with weapons due to their programming, they were relegated to secretarial positions. That's the reason why V3D1 is in charge of the intro and outro, and never on the front line, like us. It would seem that I was caught in the storm here, but I still have over 3 minutes left of this clip. Therefore, I highly doubt it takes 3 minutes to save a clip after I was eliminated, don't you? As such, there's no doubt that I'll make it out of the storm, and into the next predicted eye. 19 seconds until the storm makes it to the eye, and if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't strengthen to 2 damage per second until after a couple of phases later, though I may be wrong. However, another thing I had in my favor was medical equipment. Even if I couldn't get into the eye in the next 2 seconds, I would still be fine. And it appears that I was right about the storm not strengthening yet, as I'm still taking only 1 damage per each second I spend in the storm. Now I've eliminated a clueless pancake man in an ambush. This is what I mean when I say the heavy assault rifle is powerful, because each hit deals 35 damage. For comparison, even a blue assault rifle only deals 33 damage per shot. However, as I said earlier, assault rifles have a higher firing rate than heavy assault rifles, so it surpasses the heavy assault rifle in damage per second. Anyway, I'm nearly in the current eye, and once I get in there, I will repair my systems as best as I can with the bandages. But not before searching this chest to see if there's a med kit inside. Nope. Just a shield potion, lever action shotgun, shells, and metal. No better assault rifle nor med kit to be had. Oh well, no use crying over spilled slurp juice, am I right? Anyway, I then started repairing my systems with the bandages, trying to patch myself up from all the storm damage I took. To this day, I still wonder, what was that pancake man thinking? He was facing the wrong direction as he built those structures. He couldn't even tell that I was behind him. How does that make sense? If he was part of Mirage's team, I feel sorry for Mirage, as that was embarrassing. Anyway, as before, I entered the warehouse to try and find more medical supplies or better assault rifles. I searched that produce box, and got some cabbage and a slurp mushroom. However, despite the clear benefits, I ignored both. I then searched this ammo box, getting some medium bullets and shells out of it. I also leveled up here, obtaining a new style for menace. Once I finished up here, I left the warehouse, and made my way to the next predicted eye, as the storm was just about to close. Even though, I felt like it was important to search this supply drop, which would end up being my last mistake in this round, as someone else wanted it too. And with them stalling me by pressuring me to keep building a wall to keep them from damaging me, they were also stalling me, allowing the storm to catch up with me. I was between a rock and a hard place, and soon to be eliminated. Regardless, I do my level best to keep from getting eliminated by my opponent, and whenever the wall is destroyed, I immediately build a new one in its place. And at this point, I had 7 more structures that I can build before I run out of materials. And I know that's not much, but it's enough to last 58 seconds. Yeah. That's literally how long, from the start of the fight, as I had left. However, after I had grabbed the med kit, I found 30 spare metal, though my time was almost up, and I was soon to be scrapped. But, I didn't go down without a fight. After they reached the box, I opened fire, but they were jumping around too much. And this happens to be the last round of the episode, as well as the shortest. If I wasn't only recently built and deployed, this would have been more humiliating. However, it was still early for me, and thus, ever so slightly more forgivable. Anyway, I still got progress on the quest, so that's all that matters. In some of the competitors' opinion, it wasn't that surprising that I was eliminated so quickly this match, as I landed in one of the most popular landing spots on the island, Lazy Lake. And I see where they are coming from. Loads of loopers land here, and it does get overwhelming in situations such as these, but sometimes, you just have to take risks in order to succeed. We did. A lot. There was nothing on the roof here, so I jumped down onto an umbrella, and walked around to the chest. Inside, there was a heavy assault rifle, some gold bars, medium bullets, bandages, and stone. Unlike my predecessors sometimes, I took everything from the chest, as they were all useful in some way. Now I'm heading to where the fighting is, as I want to eliminate at least one of the opponents fighting. I suppose this, too, was the reason I was taken down so easily. However, as I said before, I don't get taken down without taking at least one looper with me. It is here that I meet up with some weird looper with white hair and a matching outfit. I walk over to where I'm within optimal range, then, in another short fight, eliminate her as well. However, unlike my previous opponent, she actually managed to not only damage my systems, but badly enough that it sealed my fate in the next fight. Despite the obvious damage to my systems, or maybe due to them, I advanced to my next, and last opponent.
And that seems to be about it for this episode. Join us in the next one when we drive a boat and eliminate opponents with assault rifles. In the meantime, thanks for watching, we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you all next time. Until then, farewell.